Welcome to the Wealthy Business Goddess Show for purpose-driven, passion-fueled spiritual entrepreneurs ready to live their purpose, passion and prosperity as they create the life and business of their dreams whilst transforming the world, doing what they love and making fabulous money. Each week we bring you inspiring and empowering topics, popular thought leaders to empower you to transform all areas of your life and business. With your host, spiritual intuitive, entrepreneur, transformational business coach and mentor, Kimberly Lovell.
Hi sweethearts, this is Kimberly Lovell, your host of the Wealthy Business Goddess Show, and I am super excited today to share with you a wonderful guest and friends of mine, Karen Williams. And Karen is a book mentor at Libertas. She started out in business in 2006. She wrote her first book in 2009, and Karen is going to tell us all about how much of a difference writing your book can make to your business. So she and her team work with business experts who have a story to tell or a message to share. They take their clients from idea to publication, ensuring that they write and publish a book that helps them to attract more clients, build their credibility, and grow their business. Karen is an amazing author of 5 business books. That is kind of amazing, Karen. So, your book is The Hook, which takes readers through her 6-step process to write and publish a book, and her latest bestseller is Book Marketing Made Simple, where she shares her must-do book marketing tips. So welcome, Karen. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thanks for inviting me, Kimberly. It's lovely to be here. Lovely to chat with you again. It's been a while.
It has, yeah. So I'm excited to dive into this because I've had this book concept. Oh gosh, it's been years actually, and there's a few book concepts, you know. And I know for a lot of our listeners, you know, it's like we've got our purpose, we've got a message that we want to share, and you know, a book is an incredible way to be able to do that. So tell us, you know, from your point of view, you're a book mentor. What do you do, and who do you help? I know I said a little bit about kind of like the people you help, but you know, I think it's more like, what does the book do for us? Because people have an idea of that. There's lots of myths, isn't there? So kind of, you know, where would you say in terms of like, what's the value of writing a book? What can it do for our business? How do you help people with that?
Okay, so I tend to work with service-based business owners. So they tend to be coaches, consultants, therapists who have something they do to help clients, but they don't actually have a widget or something that they can actually show how it works. And I think that a book really helps. It helps to do sort of quite a few things, actually. It really depends on your goal for your book. Yeah. So it helps you to build your credibility, your expert status, you know, to be perceived as a thought leader. It can help you to reach more people. It can help you to, you know, leave a legacy, make a difference if, you know, that's your motivation. And it also helps you to grow your business. So I think when you've got a book, it enables you to get really clear on what you do, leverage your message, and get known for, you know, what you actually do on a day-to-day basis with clients. I think it's a really great way of people getting to know you before they have that conversation with you. Get to know you before they actually commit to doing something else.
Yeah, I love that. And I think so many times I've purchased books. I'm a big Kindle fan now. We used to have bookcases everywhere, but, you know, shifted that a little bit. I still miss the books, mind you. And so actually touching them. So anyway, I have lots of times I've bought books on Kindle. I'm a bit of a book freak and avid reader. And so, yeah, often I've bought books on Kindle and then gone on to kind of, you know, find out more about those people and sometimes worked with them as well. So cool. I think that one of the things that I've had a book called is like your calling card.
Yeah, right? Yeah. It's kind of an expensive business card, isn't it? So
it is expensive.
But
I think it's more than that.
Yeah, it is. I took on a new client over the weekend. She emailed me, and one of the first things I did is popped a copy of my book in the post, because when we had a conversation, I said, "Oh, have you read it yet?" I said, "No." So I've just popped one in the post, and you know, little things like that. You know, I go to events, I speak, I bring my books with me, go networking. Normally, got a copy of one of my books with me. The downside of having written and published 5 books now is I need a big bag. But it is a great calling card because. Yeah. I think there's also an unexpected benefit that a lot of people get from writing a book as well, is they get really clear on their message. The more they write about what they do, the more they download it, the more they actually see all the material they have, it becomes that real great alignment with everything they do. So they realise, you know, what they need to say at a networking event. They realise the steps that they follow with clients. They realise what they need to include in the book. And that is kind of one of the, you know, unexpected benefits of it. But it's a really great calling card for, as I said, people to get to know you before they, you know, maybe come and work with you further.
Yeah, and I quite even liken it to a calling card, really, because, you know, I think, you know, when people go networking and they, oh my God, I hate networking, so I haven't been for years now. But having said that, I think we met at a networking event, didn't we? But it was more kind of like an educational networking event. So those are the things that I like to attend. Yeah, so for me, the difference, like, you know, when we say calling card, and I know everybody's, you know, listening is kind of going to understand this anyway, but it's like often when people network, they do just give you their business card, right? And then what do you do with the business card? Whereas when you've got a book and somebody gives you a book, yeah, or you know, you purchase that book, you know, pretty chances that you're going to read it.
And I've had work off the back of my you know, some of my books many years after being published. I remember having a call a couple of years ago from somebody who said, my book's on your bookshelf, I haven't read it yet, but I want to work with you. And it was just little things like that you know, that make the difference. If people are looking for help in your area of expertise and they can't remember your name, but they can look to their left, to their right, to their Kindle and actually see something you've written, that's the thing that makes you memorable, which is, you know, obviously really important.
Yeah, because most of the business cards, let's face it, they kind of, well, mine do anyway. I kept them for a while and I'm like, why am I keeping them? I've got a whole load of them.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it's really exciting, and I love that, you know, you can do that as well, that you can just email a book to somebody, you know. So, I mean, that they're just like so good. And tell us about some. Let's look at some of the myths, because I know a lot of people who come to me and they say things like, oh, you know, that everybody wants to be all the spiritual people want to be Hay House authors.
Of course.
and then they're kind of like thinking that they're going to have this amazing business, you know, as soon as they get #1 bestseller and they've written a book, right? And then I'm like, okay, well.
I think, one of the myths is you're going to be a millionaire from writing a book. I remember someone saying that to me once, and I said, no, it's not going to happen. You might get the odd, you know, sort of few £100, £1,000 of royalties every so often, probably more likely to be hundreds or even less than that. But actually, the most important thing about writing a book is to have it aligned to your business. So you to have the book that demonstrates what you do when you're working with clients and demonstrates what you want to do when you work with clients. So I think, you know, so there's two words I would say is leverage and alignment. You know how your book fits into your business, know how it fits into what you do, and also what a reader's going to do after reading it. So how can you leverage it? And I think the other thing is a lot of people think they can write any odd book, it doesn't matter what they write, and that's just such a myth, because it totally needs to be aligned. It totally needs to be you know, it needs to be on message with your business, or if you're creating a new business, obviously you can create that alongside it. So and a lot of people think it can be difficult. You know, it's difficult to get published, it's difficult to write it. And the whole idea with what I do as a book mentor and my team do is we help people to go from idea to publication. So idea, writing, managing that little voice in our heads that, you know, can sometimes come up when you're writing a book, editing, design, publication, marketing. We can do the whole lot, and that makes it easy for people as well.
And I think the book thing, something like you're saying, a little voice, sometimes it's like a flipping really massive voice.
Oh yeah.
For years, you know, like the people I've spoken to, like, oh, you know, I knew I was going to write this book, and then eventually they wrote it. So I think it's really important if you're thinking about writing a book, you know, like some people might be listening and thinking, oh, you know, but I'm not ready to do it right now. Maybe what I would say is you definitely want to check out Karen's website and Karen's information, because often the thing, and this has been my experience a lot of the time, kind of what's put me off of doing things is kind of, you know, that it's not really it's invisible. It's like we hear it, but we think, we make our doubts and our uncertainties valid, you know. We buy into them, we believe them, but actually everybody has a book in them, everybody has a story to tell.
Definitely. And it's just being able to make that decision to do it. You know, some people, it's not the right time to write a book, and that's absolutely fine. Don't put yourself under pressure to do it. But if you know it's the right time, you know you need to do it, get help, because, you know, certainly if I want to do something in my business, I normally bring someone in who can help me with it, because they keep you accountable, they keep you on track, they can answer any questions you've got, they can help you to write the best book as well. I think there's, you know, because it's so easy these days to write a book and publish it, you know, writing your best book is just so important, because it's easy just to write anything and put it out there. But if you want your book to actually do something for your business, it needs to be, You know, it needs to be that amazing thing that's going to change people's lives and also change your life as a business owner as well.
Well, yeah, and part of that is that journey, isn't it, that you go through actually putting the book together, and often that you can evolve from what you think of first writing, and so it's quite a big journey. And then I see it as in, you know, yes, it's like, it's fantastic to write the book, and it can be very therapeutic, and you'll get really clear on lots of different things, etc., etc. And at the end of the day, once you've written the book, then again, a lot of people think once they've written a book, they're going to put it on, you know, maybe they're going to self-publish, put it on Kindle, and, you know, it's going to bring in these amazing results. And of course, you know, that's kind of like, that's one step, right? And then you're actually teaching people how to market their book as well.
Yeah, because marketing the book is something that really needs to happen from the day you start to write it, or even before. There's so many things you can do to, you know, market it, whether it's doing a survey to, you know, to find out what people want to read in your book, whether it's putting something on social media and just getting accountability from people that know you, whether it's about writing a blog, and then your blog can inform your book and your book can inform your blog. So that makes it so much easier. But it's also important to launch it well, because I do come across people who've written the book and they put it on Amazon and then they think, oh, what next? And actually, if you do the whole build up, say, you know, 6, 9 months, 12 months before you've actually published, you've got people actually begging you for the book at that stage. You've got that frenzy going on, and, you know, and that is a really great way of doing it.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I wonder how many people kind of feel pressure to tell people that they're going to do something, because it's that whole accountability thing, right? Yeah. So what, you know, like, you've written so many books, Karen, like, what advice would you give to people who are perhaps writing something? And I know one of the things that I struggled with, and I still to complete my book, 4 books. I've got one that's completed actually, but I haven't published it, so there's all sorts of stuff going on. But
yeah, we need to talk.
we do, my darling. So you know, I remember I did like a big course outline, and what I noticed when I kind of put that together was actually there's 3 books in there, or at least 2, you know what I mean? And then I was like, oh, something else I want to write about. So I think for me, actually getting started and just actually writing was really helpful. And it depends on the kind of book you're writing, I guess, because there's been things I've written where I've channeled things, so that's kind of like organic, and you know, I kind of just allowed that to be a process, and then I'll kind of do something with it when I feel like it's complete, you know. And then there's the kind of like other sort of books, which probably some of your books have got a mix of this in, right? Which are more kind of like the strategy how-to books. Where
most of my clients are writing those types of books, sort of the how-to book, and that needs a really good structure, because to make it easy to write, to make it simple to do, you know, if you know that chapter 1 is going to cover X, chapter 2 is going to cover Y, chapter 3 is going to cover Z, you know, it makes it easier to write it because you've got that structure. So whenever I work you know, one-to-one with clients, we start with, we get the paper out, we get the post-it notes out, we get the coloured pens, we map it all out. Sure, it might evolve by the time they've actually finished writing it, but it gives you a starting point. It gives you a starting point to know, it's having the framework before you start. And that could be the same, and that could be the same if you're writing a memoir as well, your story, because every chapter needs a purpose. Every chapter, you know, may have a turning point or a period of time or a, you know, significant event. So it's all, you know, so it's about thinking about the structure, the readability, and, you know, always think about your end reader. Have them in mind when you're actually writing it. What do they want to get from it?
Exactly. And so it's kind of like what the outcome that you want the reader to take, and what, you know, what is the purpose of writing the book, and what's in it for them, because sometimes it's easy to tell a story, but it's the purpose of that story and what that's going to do for somebody else. So it's like when I look at it, there's just so many things, aren't there, about writing a book, and so to kind of try and do it on our own.
Just something you something you secondly, when it comes to the structure, is that, you know, if you structure it well, you may suddenly realize there is 3 books.
That's what happened to me. Like I wrote a challenge, and I kind of did my I was going to say course outline, my teaching background there, but it kind of is, it's like my table of contents are like, okay, there's loads in there, and maybe there's going to be a series of books, and I make them shorter, and then it feels much more manageable, because, you know, that's kind of my tendency to kind of like want to overgive, and of course then it's overwhelming and it kind of never gets done.
And It's also about breaking it down into manageable chunks as well, because it can feel quite daunting thinking I'm writing a book. But if you say, okay, so when I work with clients, I also look at deadlines. So we look at, okay, so you want to publish your book by, I don't know, September 2018. So you need to have this done by this date. So this means that every 3-4 weeks you need to write a chapter, or every 2 weeks you need to write a chapter. So in a way you're writing sort of maybe a blog post a week. So when you break it down into manageable chunks, it feels a little bit easier to achieve rather than I'm writing 50,000 words.
Oh my goodness, Karen. For me, and you know, it's kind of about that. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I do hustle. But you know, I'm about trying to create flow and grace and ease, and I'm kind of like a recovering A-type personality who sometimes, you know, is kind of like doing too much. And so it's, for me, what was really interesting for me was seeing that there's absolutely far too much there to go in any one book. You know, I'm not writing an encyclopedia.
Yeah, definitely. You don't have to put everything in the book. Obviously, it helps if you share your best stuff in the book, but you don't have to put everything in it. And, you know, I also work with people who they get to that stage, and when is it enough? And you have to make that decision that you know it is enough. It is good enough. And hey, I can do a second edition later. You know, with Your Book as a Hook, I did a second edition earlier this year. You know, and that's okay. You can do that.
How long does it take you to write your books?
That's a really good question. Anything from 6 months to 2.5 years, really, depending on what else I've had going on, and also how important they've been.
Yeah. And that's interesting that you said that, how important they are, because I'm guessing that, you know, I sometimes, like a lot of the women I work with are like, you know, really intuitive, and sometimes what happens is we get the concept or the idea, but maybe it's not the moment for it to be birthed. So it's kind of like it's evolving. And what really helped me, and, you know, I will put this on my list actually of things that I am going to do, and perhaps I'll send you over my table of contents and have a bit of a go. But what helped me was actually looking at the content, because I know a lot of women I've spoken to, they're kind of like, oh, you know, I don't know if I've got all of that content within me. And I also looked at content that I've already kind of got out there, you know. So it doesn't always have to be completely brand new content. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that can be listening that already do have blog posts and articles, or even interviews and MP3s.
I would say don't use new content. Use the content you've got. You know, why try and reinvent the wheel when you're doing something already? So with many clients, you know, they're already doing this. They're trainers and they're training this stuff every day, or they're coaches and they're coaching this stuff every day. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Just look at the content you've got, but then make sure that in your book you're taking one rather than taking everything you do, unless there is an end-to-end process. You know, take a particular topic and write about that topic. So you know, definitely, you know, download all the content you've got already and make something of that, rather than you don't have to create something from scratch, which I think is so important.
I think that for me was kind of like a big shift, and it helped me to kind of get lots of things, you know, kind of like clear. I've been caught up with doing like the podcast and stuff, but then for me what I found is with some of the interviews, I'm putting those into a book. So that's kind of like an example of how easy it can be, that you do the work once, and you know you've got material, and we've all got material that we're delivering. So I'm hoping that we're exciting a few people out there that have maybe been procrastinating or going like, I don't know, you know, next year, whatever.
Look, can I share another way, just making it easy, that I'm sure that your listeners will be pleased to hear, is that you can also get other people to contribute as well. So when I wrote Book Marketing Made Simple, so very much like your podcast interviews, fantastic. When I wrote Book Marketing Made Simple, I had about 20 people contribute. So some were clients and they're contributing their own success stories. Some were experts in different areas like LinkedIn, Facebook, websites and things like that, contribute an article which could be maybe 1,000 words, and actually that is hugely valuable to your readers, but it also means you don't have to write all of it yourself as well, or you facilitate it, you know, as you go. I love that.
So what other tips do you think that people, maybe where there's some kind of like myth attached, and like how you can kind of change that into a tip? Or
well, just
create problems with these myths, don't they? You know.
Yeah, and I think but when it comes to I can write any old book, I think it's really important to write one that's aligned to your business. So I'll share with you some tips that I would suggest everyone. There's 21 questions. There's a Get Started workbook that I'll give you the link later on that you can download and free from the website. But certain things to think about is, okay, so what is this book? You know, what am I writing? Who is it for? What topic am I covering? What is the problem I'm solving? Or what's the new information or the solution I'm providing? You want to ask yourself, you know, what do you want readers to do after they've read your book? Is there a package, a program, something that they're going to go on to? Why are you writing it? You know, because I think that's really important, because if you write it because of, I don't know, someone saying you need to write it, unless you've got that real emotional connection to writing it, it's going to be quite hard to doing it. So if you've got that real desire, you desperately want to have a book with your name on it, that's probably enough to keep you going when the going gets tough. And of course, you know, getting help to do it, I would say that obviously, but I did my first book all by myself without having a clue, and if I'd had some help and I knew what I was doing, it would have taken far less than the 18 months that it did take me to write it. And that was pretty much going full at it all the time. I didn't know what I was doing, which is really why I've landed up, you know, doing the book mentoring now, because I've done all the things wrong myself, so it means that other people don't have to do that.
Yeah, do you know what, I'm laughing because as you were saying that all by myself, I heard that song in my head. I was singing it in my head, so I'm not going to sing it. But yeah, why would we want to be all by ourselves doing it, you know, and making it hard work when we can have somebody that can support us and can give us those tips and those strategies? So so Karen, I don't know, what else can we share with people? What are the big mistakes you've seen people make?
I think some of the things I've mentioned already is they write any old book. They don't have a structure when they start. They try and write it to everybody. So, you know, if you know, a book really works well when you've got an expert business, when you're quite niched in what you do. And if you write towards that niche, it makes it so much easier to get known within that niche. Perfect example, I was speaking at an event, an exhibition last week, and I did my talk, and then I had a little wander around with a friend of mine, and I bumped into someone I'd met once, and she said, "Oh, you're the book lady." And you know, people get to know what you do because people talk about you. It's so much easier to get referrals and recommendations when people know what you do. And, you know, having that book means that you automatically become more visible as long as you launch it well. So when I launched Book Marketing Made Simple, I went all out and I did loads of interviews, podcasts. I did Amazon launch. I became a bestseller. I did so much to get that book out there. And it really, you know, it helped to elevate my status, I suppose. You know, again, even though I've been doing this for a while, but it really made me push myself out there to actually get to, you know, connect with more people. So that's another sort of byproduct of writing a book. If you do the launch well, you promote it, you market it every step of the way, people will get to know you for that, and then they'll be able to obviously refer you, or even maybe come and work with you yourself.
Yeah, love it. So how can people find out more about working with you, Karen? Is it, you know, it sounds, you know, amazing in terms of so much, you know, you're taking people from that whole journey, because some people do stuff around marketing and so what, you're taking people from the actual concept through to the publication, which I think is amazing. So you can download the Get Started workbook, which is on my website, which is www.libratas.com/21 questions, or if you just go to libratas.com, you'll find it. Obviously grab one of my books. Your Book is a Hook is the 6-step process, as Kimberly said earlier, and Book Marketing Made Simple is all about how to make book marketing simple. That's what it says on the tin. Or just go to Libratas and arrange to have a conversation with me. I'm currently looking for sort of clients probably in the new year now, sort of, you know, January onwards. So I've got quite a lot of people starting over the next couple of months. But and my vision, I suppose, for the company is there's basically it's myself, and there's a sort of a larger team of people who do other things like the editing, proofreading and design and things like that. And we just want to encourage as many people as possible to write the best book they can write that really helps to elevate their status, to build their business, to leverage their expertise and get known for what they really want to do. And don't do it yourself, you know, really just you know, whether you get a coach, a normal, you know, business coach, or, you know, a mentor, just have someone kicking your backside to get it done. For sure. Did we say don't do it alone?
I think So why feel around in the dark to do something that you don't know how to do, that you have to learn when there's other people who've done it and made all the mistakes for you?
Yeah, I love this, because I think it's, sometimes, I have felt such kind of sadness, but also frustration at times, both with myself and then also clients that I work with, because they're so gifted and they're amazing at what they do, and they're not putting themselves out there. And so often I'm working with people kind of with their confidence and their mindset, and then about being more visible. And of course, one of the big reasons I think that some people put off writing their book is because they don't actually want to be visible.
Of course, yeah.
It's like a massive thing with like the tele summits and radio shows and so forth. So lots of the visibility stuff comes up for us. But actually, we're all amazing, and we all have individual gifts and abilities. So if you've got like even a tiny whisper going on somewhere in your head or in your heart that is kind of like, well, maybe I could write a book, or then check out Karen's website and definitely download this free gift. I'll put the links on the show notes so people can access that easily. But yeah, it's an amazing opportunity to have some guidance and some support and accountability. So Karen, it's been such a pleasure, such a joy to reconnect with you.
Thank you.
Have you and share so much wisdom and so many little nuggets there. So thank you so much for that, my darling.
Thank you very much for inviting me again.
You are very, very welcome, and I will have to connect with you some more as well. So, until we speak again, my darlings, I'm going to say...
You've been listening to the Wealthy Business Goddess Show. If you've enjoyed the show, subscribe and review our podcast. Sign up to receive your Wealthy Business Goddess resources and join us in the Wealthy Business Goddess community at www.lovekimberly.com/WBG. To find out more about how Kimberly can support you in creating the life and business of your dreams, or to watch the show via video, visit the website at www.kimberlylovell.com.